Hello everyone, and welcome to SSR, Safe Space Racing, for some more F2 action tonight here. And as you can see on the screens, we haven't started just yet, but we will be starting at Interlagos in Brazil very soon. And if you've seen an SSR F2 race before, certainly this season, you will know that we're going to be in for some chaos, some good battling, some possibly not so good battling on track as well. But regardless, we're going to have very exciting races and also very exciting one-shot qualifying session that will be first in order. And the reason we've gone live slightly early is because of that one-shot qualifying, and just to allow us to settle in beforehand. So if you are in the chat, let me know if you can hear me okay. Bascom62 is currently your commentator. Let me know if the audio is all good and if it's working. Hopefully it is. And we will get into it. We're a couple of minutes away from readying up. And once we know the audio and stuff is all good, we will run through the standings and run through everything else that we need to know about. And no one's told me that we are in trouble with audio, so we will run through the standings quickly, then we'll go through them again at some point during the race, but just so we know where we are at. And it's a pretty close championship battle that is forming between the two Dutch drivers. Currently IL Division, who we're looking at right now. Shall we have a look at his super license division? We get this because we're on a new account. There we go. Actually, we don't want to look at my stats, but let's have a look at division. Yeah, IL Division currently leading the championship in the Uni Virtuosi car, 134 points. As we see, we're readying up. And Monkey, the other Dutch driver and our other F2 coordinator, in P2, 120 points. So 14 points the gap there. Bit of a distance back to Formula Maxim, who is in P3, 94 points in the MP Motorsport car. There he is down there, Charisma's teammate. And just behind him, Reflex Pilot, 81 points, and TTM Stannard, 71 points. So they're the top five, still in contention. Plenty of points on offer every week in F2. We've got 4 points for pole, point for fastest lap in each race, obviously 25 points and down available in the feature race, 15 points and down available in the sprint race. So a good 45 points on offer every week in the F2 league. And we're only in, as you can see, round 6. So plenty of rounds still to go. 14 points the gap at the top after Division won the feature race from pole last week in Austria and got on the podium in the sprint race. So he had a really strong week in Austria last week, and it's a similar sort of track. So Wouldn't be surprised to see Division, who's really been probably the most consistent driver so far. That's why he's leading the championship. Wouldn't surprise me to see him having another good week. As Titan in the chat, hello mate, are you racing? I'm not sure. You are racing, excellent. Let me know on the old weather reports. I know you're very, very good on them. I've got Titan Racing. He's going to be looking to just improve a bit. Last couple of races, he's been in the points, up to 15 points in the championship now. A bit of a battle going on between him and Zampa, possibly. Tier 1 drivers who haven't quite got to grips with the F2 cars yet. Just a point between them and the championship. And we can see a dry track on your screens right now. And yeah, Titan saying all dry but a wet sprint race. So as long as the stream can survive that long, because it didn't last week, but if we get there, that's going to be exciting. We saw a really exciting feature race in Austria last week, where it went from dry to wet, and that was lots of fun. And so we're going to see some different strategies play out then, because I assume these guys are going to have to use the setups all the way through. So do they go dry for the qualifying and obviously the feature race, which is worth a lot more points, it has to be said. But will a couple of these guys who possibly aren't up the top every week maybe go for more of a wet setup and give themselves a chance in the sprint race? Of course, the sprint race, as Aero leaves the session, so we're going to have to get him back in quickly. It interrupts our train of thought. And but let's get him back in. Always good to get the connection issues out of the way early. And Aero, if you're listening, you should have an invite. And let me know if not in the chat. And we're just going to wait a couple of minutes for these guys to ready up. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see the strategies. Obviously, also come into play is the reverse grid for the sprint race. Drivers finishing 1 to 8 in the feature race are reversed, so whoever finishes P8 in the feature is going to be on pole for the sprint race. And that also plays a part. We've seen some guys have been not so great in the feature race, score a lot of points in the sprint races this season, and hopefully I'm sure we're going to see that again as we see the drivers readying up, and we're going to very shortly go into a one-shot qualifying. It always provides some excitement. We're going to try and stick on board with just one driver. And who should we go on board? Let's go on board with Stenner, because he is often at the top. And he invalidates straight away, and we've jinxed Zampa, unfortunately. We've also had, guys, 5 different pole sitters in our first 5 races. So let's keep an eye on that. On pole so far this season: Ultra Titan in Russia, Shush in Italy, Monkey in Netherlands, Reflex Pilot in Great Britain, and Division in Austria. So will we see someone grab pole for the second time this season for the first time? Or will we have a 6th different pole sitter in 6 races? We can see a couple of guys who are often on pole, or have been on pole so far: Division and Reflex Pilot, currently 1 and 2, but then in 3 and 4, Maxim and Charisma, the 2 MP Motorsport drivers, yet to get a pole position. Division looking good so far. He's on pole position halfway through the lap. And let's see, then all these guys I would have thought on the softer combine tyres. Division purple in sector 2. He's currently looking good for a 2nd consecutive pole position, not just this season, the 2nd consecutive pole position in Brazil, carrying on from last season. Is it going to be in the 115s for Division? Yeah, just about gets into the 115s, the 115.8, and it's 2 pole positions in a row for our championship leader, and 2 pole positions in a row for him at Brazil. Clearly a track that he likes, and that he is going to be very, very tough to beat. And crucially, you can see at the bottom of your screens 2 of the championship rivals, Monkey and Stenner, DSQ in qualifying. So they're well down 13 and 14. Division on pole. And it was really a 2-way battle all the way through that lap between him and Reflex Pilot. In the end, 0.2 of a second separated those 2. Ultra Titan back on a bit of form, P3 for him, and JDM making his debut, I believe, this weekend, is in P4 in the Charoux. He was 0.8 back, just ahead of Charisma P5. Maxim happy probably with P6. Stoker Chaz and Zampa consistent as always, P7, P8. Just Sander and Halo in P9 and 10. Bradley Johnson on the medium compound tyres, that's interesting, is P11. Shush, Monkey, Stenner and Aero didn't set a time. So Reflex Pilot then is going to have to be the one to put our championship leader under pressure, and he's going to have to do his very, very best to stop Division running away with this one. We've got Sandwiches in the chat, hello mate, and Zampa as well with the Safe Space Racing. P8 could be on course for a reverse grid pole, Zampa, if you can have a solid race. And JDM saying that a lag spike cost him pole, so he's feeling he might have the pace if he can survive. If he can survive the race, he might also be able to challenge Division for the win. But let's see, we're going to wait a minute or so for these guys to ready up. So while we are doing that, let's just run you through. We did the Drivers' Championship before the race. Let's run you through the Constructors' Championship as well. And leading that is Univirtuosi, that's Division and Budweiser. Budweiser not racing this weekend, so Division the sole driver this weekend for Univirtuosi. They've got a 33-point lead over Prema, which is Monkey and Zampa. So a chance for Prema to catch up, but qualifying might suggest otherwise. But it's 2 cars against 1 this weekend. Trident in P3, 119 points compared to Univirtuosi's 167. That is TTM Stenner and Just Sander, who both of them certainly have good pace in the F2 cars, so can be a contender, but again qualifying not great. And in P4 the only other team in the 100 points yet, 108 points for MP Motorsport, and we saw Maxim and Charisma both having solid qualifying. So will we see any of those constructors close up to the back of Univirtuosi? And Craig Conley's in the chat as well. Hello Craig, hope you are all good. Good to see you. Hopefully we can have as much fun as when I think you're in the chat last for Italy. Hopefully we don't get Monkey flying across turn 1 again. But you never know, especially with Brazil. We certainly see some carnage in those first couple of corners, turn 1 and turn 2. Very, very narrow in the midsection of those 2 corners. And I think we will at some point see someone in that turn 1 brake a little bit later than they intend to. But let's keep an eye on that. We've only got 15 drivers, so hopefully we can avoid too much carnage. And we're going to go underway for the formation lap. And what do we want? Let's have a look at tyres. Interestingly, JDM and Charisma have managed to start on the medium compound tyres. And I don't think they were on the mediums in qualifying. Might be wrong. I can't remember too much. We've got 20 laps. So they're going to be able to go long in the first stint and then pit onto those faster soft tyres at the end. That's going to be key for them. Everyone else in the top 10 on the soft tyres they qualified on. And everyone outside the top 10 is on the mediums. Only 2 choices of dry compound tyres in F2. And SSI Hamilton wants Vons to be raided. I'll have to let Zampa know about that. He controls the raids, but hopefully we can, I'm sure we'll be able to get that. Thanks for the redeeming your sandwiches. And hopefully you can stick around for the race as well, which is going to be underway. And Craig Conley wants some adverts, but no idea how to do that, unfortunately. I just talk. Zampa does all the complicated stuff, but he is busy on his formation lap. I can do a sandwich appreciation society though. We can always appreciate the sandwiches. And SSR Sandwiches himself in the chat. And what have we got here? So JDM and Charisma must have qualified on the medium tyres, which we didn't see in qualifying. Yeah, my pronunciation probably not great on that one. I think there's plenty of things you can spend your channel points on. I've no idea what they are, but sure if you click somewhere. Sandwiches, you've got Bascom 62 on the comms tonight, but oh, we've got lights out. 2 seconds. I'll get back to comment in a second, but we are lights out, and Division's going to take us away here in Brazil, round 6 for F2, and Division doesn't seem to have got off the line very well. I think Division has stalled possibly on the line. Let's have a look. Ron Boyle forming Maxim. Lobby looks very, very ghosty right now. Oh, we've got a spin though. We've got spins at the back. JDM in trouble. Division looks like he's in trouble as well. Who's leading? Oh, the telemetry is all over the place. And I've no idea what the cars are either. So this is fantastic. What I can tell you is that Halo is at the back of the grid. And we're trying to figure out. It looks like Reflex Pilot is currently in the lead. Ultra Titan P2, Division P3. Currently the telemetry is finally sorting itself out. Halo is the one in trouble at the back of the grid. Monkey as well has had some issues. Formula Max in P3. JDM Hate is in P5 on the medium tyres. And Charisma's had an issue as well. He's dropped down to P13. We had all sorts of problems with the telemetry on the left hand side there. And when you don't know what the cars are just by looking at them, that gets things all sorts of complicated. But we've got some side-by-side action in the back. And that is Stenner looking to make a move after a bad qualifying performance. He is currently alongside Aero, I think, with his teammate Just Sander right behind him. And what's going on up the front? Division's trying to get that position back that he's lost on the opening lap. Ultra Titan down the inside, late brakes later than the Uni Virtuosi driver. Division's going to send it around the outside, and Titan looks like he's ghosting there for some reason. We're going to have a lovely view of all the cars heading down towards turn 3. And the Division's on the outside. Ultra Titan again brakes later up the inside. And this time Division's going to try and hang it round the outside. He's going to have a better run, but Titan's still ahead. They're going to go side by side up the hill towards turn 7. And again Titan brakes later. Division not wanting to cause any early contact, but at the minute Reflex Pilot is well, he's stretching that gap out in front. Titan Train in P2. Division Maxim, JDM all pretty close behind. Chaz a little bit further back. And we're checking with the guys at the back in a minute. Looks like Stenner's had a problem. He's dropped down to P14, and Just Sander as well possibly. We've got 2 cars inside each other. It's after the watershed, so that's not a problem. And yeah, Just Sander well down there. Monkey not had a good start to the race at all. He's down at the back of the grid. Just Sander P14. Halo also had problems. He was the one we saw in the white car spinning at turn 2. Stenner's had a problem this lap. Charisma's made up some positions after his bad start. And he's alongside Bradley Johnson. Zampa currently P9. And we can see a big gap there between 8 and 9. So I think the bottom 7 have all had some sort of issue at the start, which we didn't really catch on, unfortunately. Some shoddy camera work today, but hopefully we can make up for that as we see Maxim up the inside of, Division up the inside of Titan. This time it goes for the inside, Titan around the outside. You can see Titan's car, and we're going to watch from Formula Maxim's point of view. Titan on the inside, Division on the outside. Again, Titan brakes later. Division tries to switch back, but no room. And the Maxim's just now trying to get involved. And Division, I don't think he wanted to make that move, but brakes slightly too late. That invites Maxim around the outside, but there again, there's no room. And we're seeing a bit of train here. Look at that gap between Reflex Pilot and Ultra Titan. As Bradley Johnson retires on the left-hand side of your screens there. I don't know if you just caught that. And he was facing the wrong way as well. So big crash. And we've got a safety car, I think. Either a safety car or a virtual safety car. It doesn't want to tell me. I can't see a safety car on track, so I think it's just a virtual. So an EMI moment for Bradley Johnson, and I think that was a virtual safety car we saw there on the board on the right hand side. Or was it a safety car? No one's pitting, so I'm going to assume it's a virtual safety car. I'm just going to wait for these guys to get going again. But it's a 3.4 second gap between Reflex Pilot and Ultra Titan. Division P2, and Maxim I think's had an issue, because he's dropped. Oh, and Titan with a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. He was having a fantastic start to this race. His Aero, unfortunately, we're having some horrific noises coming out of Titan's car. But let's get Aero back in the game quick. And there he is. Oh, unfortunate for Ultra Titan, because he has had a fantastic start to this race. But that drive-through penalty is going to allow Division to even if he doesn't get it on track, he's going to sail past while Ultra Titan's doing about 50 miles an hour in the pit lane, as is pretty much all the grid, unfortunately, for Titan, as Titan gets it all wrong on exit as well. In Division, he's losing so, and Titan spins. Great view of the spin. Titan just about gets it going again. JDM's going to be able to get through. And what's happening to Ultra Titan here? Looks like JDM and Ultra battling out now. Ultra's got this drive-through penalty. He needs to just get himself in the pit lane. Really, he's going to be really fuming with himself for getting that penalty. Psycho Chaz gives us a fantastic view of this battle. Is Titan going to go into the pits? No, he wants to keep battling. He wants to keep going. And JDM on the outside, not leaving each other much room. Both want the outside line. Titan eventually has to go up the inside, and does get in front, but Division just about blocks him in, and then he has to back off the throttle. That allows JDM a run. It's also going to allow Psycho Chaz a run. He's going to make it 3 wide down towards turn 4, and Psycho Chaz then just backs out. We've seen him become a very, very good and patient driver when he's around other cars after a slightly sceptical start to his SSR F2 career, as Titan locks up and goes wide. It allows Division to go through. But yeah, Chaz has done really, really well the last few races, being very patient, picking his moments. This is all a bit of contact between Titan and JDM. Titan really, really getting his elbows out early on in this race. Still angry at that drive-through penalty, I can imagine. And Shush as well, getting involved in this battle. Maxim is just behind, and it's a long way back then to Zampa. We're not getting massively great camera angles here, and there we go, it's a better one. Reflex Pilot is just running away with it out front. Didn't see what happened at the start. Division didn't look like he got away particularly well, but Reflex Pilot got through and then was massively aided by the fact that Division has been stuck behind Ultra Titan until this lap. Titan stays out again. He's going to have to pit at the end of this lap, and JDM gets in front of him as well, but Titan defends. He's on the softer compound tyres as Stenner sets the fastest lap of the race. And we can see that 4.5 second gap now between Reflex Pilot and Division. We've got some battling in the back as well. That's Shush all over the back of Psycho Chaz as Stenner picks up our first track limits penalties. And Halo's been overtaken by Aero as well. He's had some connections issues. And we'll look at chat in a second. Just keep an eye on this battle. We can see it's still a Titan train. This time it's now for P3. Division's got through, like we said. Oh, we don't want to look at that. As just Sander, a few fastest laps coming through now from the guys at the back of the grid in clean air. But yeah, Titan just looks like we're dropping off a pace, and we're going to expect these guys into the pits in about 2 laps time, I would have thought, as JDM again sends up the inside of Titan. But that's going to give Titan a DRS, but I think he has to pit this lap. I think Titan has to pit this lap. So it was about 3 laps ago he got the drive through. So if we don't see, yeah, and there we go, he has to unfortunately switch into the pit lane. That promotes Chaz to P4, and Shush and everyone behind Titan is going to get that jump. And unfortunately for him, as this now becomes a 3-way battle for P3. JDM, Psycho Chaz and Shush, and we've got some love in the chat for Psycho Chaz. Charlie Lock Racing, who we've seen in here supporting his mate a few times, and Chaz probably having his best race so far on those soft tyres, mixing it up with some very, very quick drivers in JDM and Shush, albeit both of those guys on the medium compounded tyres, but still some very, very good driving so far from Psycho Chaz. And Division is putting that foot down. He's chipped away 7/10 of a second, now 8/10 of a second off Reflex Pilot. We're seeing some good battling now. Look at this, back of the grid. Aero, Charisma and Halo all battling for P9 right now, and unfortunately Titan's come out in P13 at the back of the grid. We've got a yellow flag as well. That's at turn 1. Is that just Sander? It is. Oh, and Aero's left the session again. Sander's out of spin. Aero's left the session, so now we're going to have to get him back in. He's having some Wi-Fi problems today, unfortunately, but he is back in now. Bradley Johnson, hello mate. Let me, what happened with your incident? As we're seeing the soft tyres, Reflex Pilot's going to go for the undercut on Division. Chaz into the pits as well. Hopefully no speeding penalties. Didn't see any come through. Maxim in the pits, Zampa in the pits. So Charisma will have to go one more. And yeah, I see Stenner really pushing with that time penalty already. But JDM having a good race. He's currently keeping that gap, even though he's on the harder compound of tyres to Division. JDM and Shush going to have plenty to say at the end of this race on those soft compound of tyres. That's going to be exciting to see. Yeah, Bradley, let me know what happened with your spin. We saw your car on the left hand side of where we're looking now, facing the wrong way. As Parker CCFC Coventry City Football Club. Have I got that right? Who knows? Let me know. Parker, thanks for following in the chat though. And Craig Collins got a practice for Netherlands. And Craig, you'll be pleased to know, well, you might not be pleased, but maybe you are. Please know me and Maxim are going to be back on comms tomorrow for Tier 1. And Netherlands my favourite track, so hopefully we can have a good one there. Looking forward to that. And we're going to see, look at everyone other than Division is currently on the medium compound tyres. That's going to be rectified pretty quickly as Division flies into the pit lane, slams on the brakes as JDM behind him, flying 118 dead, fastest lap of the race. And unfortunately to hear from Bradley Johnson. Unfortunately, yeah, a few guys having problems with that adjustment to F2, and obviously sometimes the racing not always as clean as the F1 tiers. Let's see where Division comes out. It's going to be crucial with Reflex Pilot. It looks like he might come up behind Division here. This is going to be one to keep an eye on. The gap was about 3.5 seconds before Reflex pitted, and Reflex pushing massively to get out in front. Gets a 3-second time penalty. He is going to get out in front just. Division clawed behind about 3 seconds on that in lap. And then Reflex Pilot as well picked up a penalty for his troubles in trying to get out in front. And Division, what an in lap that was. I don't know if Reflex got caught up in traffic, but Division is now right on the back of Reflex Pilot. The gap was about 4 seconds. Was it 4.5 seconds when Division got past Titan? So that's pretty interesting. That's actually our closest battle right now as well. The other one is Monkey, who's yet to pit on the back of Charisma, who's also yet to pit. And Monkey's going to have DRS in a second. Let's see if they can do anything on that. So we can see the top 6 drivers all on old medium compound tyres. They're all going to pit onto the soft tyres and be very quick at the end of the race. Reflex Pilot currently a net race leader, but only just. Let's see if Monkey can have a little look. Doesn't get it done on the inside of Charisma. Is Division going to be close enough? Doesn't look like he is. But this is for the net race lead. P7 is currently leading the race after these pit stops for the top 6 guys. So Division looks quicker than Reflex Pilot right now, you have to say, and that time penalty for Reflex is going to definitely come into play at the end of the race as well. And yeah, Brazy is at Spain, just like myself, for Tier 2 on Saturday. And the good news is I think I've finished 2 races in a row, so big improvements for me in Tier 2. And Brazy unfortunately didn't have a great race last week, but hopefully can get better for you on Saturday. Still in P2 in the championship though, I think there's 1 point separating P2 and P5 in Tier 2. So we'll look forward to that battle as usual on Saturday. That's at Spain. Like we said, Tier 1 at Netherlands, 11 o'clock tomorrow night. And you get myself and Maxim on comms, so always worth tuning in for the waffle that we will undoubtedly talk about. And even better than that, on Saturday night you get the pleasure of Zampa and Charisma, Mr. Emu himself, on Tier 2, and that is the GOAT commentary duo. So hopefully we can hopefully you can all tune in for that. And then on as we're seeing, Division fastest lap of the race, hopefully what track are we at? Tier 3. I can't remember where Tier 3 is, but that's Sunday night 11 o'clock, and that's going to be always a good race in Tier 3 as well. What have we got going on then? Charisma has been overtaken by Monkey and then gets a 3-second time penalty for his troubles as well. Gets forced off the track there at turn 4, I think that is. Yeah, turn 4. There's Craig Conley, 100 bits. Thank you, Craig. Thanks for your support tonight. Always good to have you in the chat. Tier 3, Azerbaijan. Wow, that's going to be interesting. Baku. Oh, as we see Charisma go a little bit deep there, but gets away with it. And these guys, Reflex and Division, are slowly catching up to the back of Aero. They're going to be over the back of him soon. We've got an interesting battle here coming up between Zampa and Maxim. That's going to be an interesting one to keep an eye on, but Division is really close here to Reflex Pilot. This is going to be for the lead of the race soon, unless JDM can have something to say about that. And the Division's going to have the DRS. He's going to go to the outside line. What the camera angle this is, Division round the outside. Who's going to brake later? They both brake at the same time, and that's going to allow Division with a better racing line. But he goes deep, and that's going to allow Reflex back through. Division's then going to have a better run down towards turn 4. Oh no, Reflex has got the DRS though. Reflex timed that really well, and he gets back through. Division had the outside line for turn 1, went a bit too deep, had to get hard on the brakes to get back on the track for turn 2, and that allowed Reflex with a good run. Keeps ahead, 8 laps to go here at as Reflex brakes a lot earlier than Division. They're different lines through turn 7. 8 laps to go here for our feature F2 race at Brazil, round 6 of our championship. We are on board with our championship leader as he looks to extend that gap at the top, currently in P7. That will become P2 once everyone pits. The top 5 yet to pit, as a Shush does pit and gets a 5-second penalty for doing so, for speeding in the pit lane. That puts probably pay to any hopes of a podium, and that might put pay to any hopes of a win. For Reflex Pilot gets out of shape coming out of the final corner, or penultimate corner technically, and the Division's going to have another run as Monkey gets a penalty for speeding in the pit lane as well, and this time Division's going to be through before we get to the corner. Costly mistake there from Reflex Pilot, allows Division through, and this time Division doesn't go deep, and he is through. And Reflex, unless he can get on the DRS and get a good run here, but he's probably going to be too far back. And he does have a look, tries to force Division into a mistake, but that's not going to happen anytime soon, as the Division runs slightly wide, but again, no issues there. And Shush, interestingly, that 5-second penalty is going to be a problem for him. Onto a soft tyre, is going to be quicker than these guys, but has got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. But keep an eye out for JDM, guys, because he was 4.5 seconds clear of Shush, who was only 3 seconds down from these 2 medium runners. And JDM is almost certainly going to come out in front of these guys onto soft tyres. JDM looking really solid right now, as we see with more battling that we've missed. Division overtaken by Reflex Pilot into, where was that, into turn 10 maybe? We missed that one. I can't believe we missed that. We've been following this battle for about 5 laps, and the one time we move away, Reflex makes a move at some point in sector 2, and now Division, this is costing these guys a lot of time, and JDM is going to be loving this when he pits. Stenner pits from P2. Not sure where he's going to come out, but Division now too far back and brakes a little bit too late. Has to compromise his exit, and then compromises his run out of turn 2 and round 3. And Reflex probably far enough ahead that he doesn't have to worry about him into turn 4. And the Division's going to be ruining that overtake from Reflex that we missed. The other battle going on right now is a couple of battles, because Stenner's just come out on track in front of Maxim, in front of Zampa as well. And Stenner is going to be on those soft combat tyres though, so that medium run has gone very well for the likes of Stenner, who come out in P6 on the soft compound tyres, not too far behind Psycho Chaz. Solid as always in P5 right now, but going to be hunted down by Stenner on those soft compound tyres. And so Stenner, after an early mistake that we missed, has clawed some points back and is going to put himself in a good position for the reverse grid sprint race as well. Also in a fantastic position is going to be JDM. Let's see where he comes out in the pit lane right now. And in the house right now is AJ Mars. AJ, thanks for tuning in. The goat of commentary himself. And let's see, Reflex Pilot as Shush, fastest lap of the race, charging behind these guys, 1.7 seconds. Where's JDM in all of this? You can see the other two in the top left of your screens. Arrow's left the session again. We'll try and get him back in a minute. And look at that. JDM, what a stint by him on the medium compound tyres. Comes out in the lead of this race on the soft tyres. And he's, if we're going to be honest, is going to absolutely walk away with this last 5 laps unless he makes a big error, because he's on the fastest compound tyres and he's got clean air in front of him. And JDM looking very, very good for the win right now. And this looks like a battle for P2 between Reflex and Division. Shush is probably going to want to get involved, but he's got a 5-second time penalty. So let's get Aero back in. No, we don't want the race director. Let's get Aero back in, and then we're going to have a look at penalties. Let's have a look. Oh, Shush with 8 seconds. That's going to be costly. Even more costly is going to be Stenner with 17 seconds worth of penalties. I think he's been pushing slightly too hard. So he's going to overtake Chaz, but Chaz is going to be looking good for... Oh, Zampa. Zampa's had his customary off, and that's crucial because it's going to give Monkey the reverse grid pole right now. P8 gets your pole position in the sprint race, and Zampa's just spun his way out and down into 9th place. We saw him in the grass there on the inside, and Zampa often likes to test out the slightly less used parts of a track in an F2 race, and he's done so again here in Brazil as Division goes wide and gets a 3-second time penalty, and that spices up the battle for P2. Division running wide there at turn 4, and now him and Raw and Division, he's pushing so hard, 4 laps to go, and Division and Reflex now have equal penalties. And that's going to... Well, it just means it's an on-track... Oh, this Division gets so close. Taps the gearbox of Reflex. And this is just now a straight battle for P2. Reflex Pilot currently P4 in the championship. Division currently leading the championship. Crucial for Reflex that he keeps in front here. And let's see if Division can do anything yet again with DRS, as AJ gives a sub to IFX Messi, I believe is OTL Ezzy on his Discord. So thanks for doing that. Oh, it's Cruyff, sorry. I knew it was one of the OTL guys. OTL Cruyff is the today's gifted sub. Thanks AJ as always. 13 gifted subs, very generous of you. As Division looks like he's going to make a move up the inside, but Reflex not so generous with the amount of space he leaves, and no room for Division to get past. And again, he's looking and looking and looking. We know that Reflex normally brakes slightly earlier for this corner, but actually this time brakes slightly later. Keeps ahead, and this is just going to be a really, really good battle for P2. Let's have a look at a good battle for P9. Halo around the outside of Zampa, and we're not going to see it because the camera angle doesn't want us to, but now we're going to see... Oh, Zampa just about leaves enough room. Halo now at the inside. And the brakes earlier, Zampa brakes later, has the outside line, hangs it around the outside of turn 7 into turn 8, and this time Halo has the inside and brakes later, and gets the move done for P9, and that's going to be good enough for reverse grid pole right now, but because of the penalties for Monkey, gap 3 seconds, penalty 5 seconds, with 3 laps to go. So Halo looking good for a very good sprint race position right now, and let's have a look at our other battle, because Division's going to send it around the outside of Reflex. Gets the job done. And now Reflex is going to have a better run around turn 3. Who's going to have DRS? This is crucial for turn 4. It's Reflex who's going to have it. And Reflex is going to get the job done. What are these camera angles? Division on the outside is going to have a better run. Shush is getting involved as well in the Campos on the soft tyres. And these guys have got to fit 3 cars into one here for turn 7. Just about get it done, and it's Reflex who keeps in front with 3 laps to go, or 2.5 laps to go now. As Zampa and Halo still battling. Let's have a look. Looks like Zampa's got him back. These guys are in the same position they were a lap ago, and again Zampa brakes later. Again Halo looks up the inside, but this time doesn't get anything done. And it's like a Chaz looking good. And this is now the battle we're going to focus on for P2 with 2 laps to go. JDM's run away with it after a fantastic stint on the medium tyres. And now Division is going to have a look. He's got another run. He's going to make the same move as we've seen before around the outside of turn 1. And Reflex is going to do the same move we've seen before. Switch back. Oh, and Division blocks him off a little bit by braking late. And Division's dropped down massively into P4 now. Net P3 of Shush's penalties, but I'm not sure too much what happened there. Division was in front, had to brake early for turn 2, went a bit deep, and Reflex went into the back of him. Not sure if hopefully no wing damage for Reflex Pilot. But he manages to keep going, and now he is P2 and he's got Shush behind him now. That's exactly what Reflex wanted. Bit of distance between Division and Reflex, and Division's going to be cursing that. And just kept being given the same door by Reflex. Reflex wanted him around the outside of turn 1 at every opportunity to give Reflex the opportunity to switch back for the second DRS zone. And Division didn't really have anywhere else to go, unfortunately. Drops him down to P4, having to brake early for turn 2. And Charlie with another mention for Chaz. He's had a fantastic race, P6, looking very, very good for P5 right now, which I think will be his best finish of the season. I could be wrong on that, but I think it could be his best position. And we're on to the final lap of the race. And so this could be then the final opportunity for Division to get amongst it for P2, but he's got that orange Campos in the way of Reflex. And Shush gets another time penalty. And Psycho Chaz could be on for P4 here after Shush's penalties as well. That's one to keep an eye on, but also we're going to keep an eye on Shush. Doesn't get to have a look at Reflex Pilot, and I think Reflex is going to get P2 here unless Division can pull something out the bag, but he is far too far back. And with Shush's penalties, Reflex is going to get, in my opinion, a very, very well deserved P2, because he has defended beautifully from the championship leader, and he got a great start. P2 on the grid, jumped Division on the grid, made that opportunity when Ultra Titan got through Divisions. Oh, and Reflex, oh no, we've jinxed him. Reflex spin, half spin out of turn 10, I think. Division gets through. Oh no, Reflex. I've just spent 20 seconds bigging him up. And now he's going to have a good run though on Division, but he needs to get him by the line. Final lap, JDM crosses the line, wins the feature race in Brazil. And we've got a drag race to the line that Division is going to win, I think. Oh, how close was that? And Division gets P2 by 0.02 of a second, and Reflex is going to be kicking himself. And it's the commentator's curse in full effect as Reflex crosses line P3. Chaz does get P4, fantastic from him. Shush P5, Maxim P6, Stenner P7 gets him in a good position for the sprint race, as does Halo, who's going to be on pole for our sprint race, 14 lap sprint. Monkey is going to be disappointed with P9. Zampa picks up a point, which I think he'll be pretty pleased with, as he gets P10. Charisma P11. All these guys were out of the points, had some issues at some point. Aero disconnecting, Titan with a drive-through penalty when he was in a fantastic position. And Jasander with a couple of spins. Bradley Johnson with a big spin into a barrier. DNS, but hopefully he might. Let's drop Bradley an invite, see if he fancies getting involved in the sprint race. Let's see then. Well, what an ending that was. Zampa, yeah, we caught a little bit of the action. We were a little bit more focused on P2, but caught a little bit of that action as well. Looked some fantastic battling there. Unfortunately didn't see all of it, but we caught a little bit, and looked good battling there. And Halo, like we said, in a very, very good position for the sprint race. Some cheers for Chaz. We're going to an ad break. And I don't know if all of you are seeing ads right now. If you're not and you can still hear me, then hello. We'll just wait until the ads finish and then we'll resume. Gives me a chance to catch my breath. And I think we're back. Let's have a look then at the classified order for our feature race. JDM Haters, fantastic race from P4, medium to soft, wins the race. Division P2 after that last corner overtake on Reflex Pilot. Hamilton on Glock-esque. Reflex down to P3 after a fantastic race. Psycho Chaz, fantastic race as well. P4 penalty free. 12 points for him. Shush with a great drive from P12 gets up into P5 and in a good position for the sprint race. Maxim P6 keeps his consistent points finishes going. Stenner P7, good recovery from him after an early spin. Halo penalty free, gets reverse grid pole. And Monkey and Zampa round off our points paying positions. And yeah, Zampa, I was been saying the same thing in commentary. Psycho Chaz looking very, very good, and his improvement just in 6 weeks has been monumental. No penalties and just so patient under pressure from other drivers as well. So hats off to Chaz. But we're going to see what he and all our other drivers can do in torrential rain conditions by the looks of things. Always expect rain at Brazil, and rain is what we've got. And this is going to spice things up pretty dramatically. So if you stay tuned in for the sprint race, firstly, thanks very much for doing so. And secondly, what a treat we're going to have for you, because this is going to be carnage. And Aero, looks like you need another invite. I'll get you in. Can I invite you now? Don't think I can invite you now, but I'll oh, I can. So let's give Aero an invite. Hopefully you can get back in. That's just muscle memory at this point. But let's have a look. So what we can assume as well is that all of these guys are going to be on dry setups, because the feature race was dry. That's where all the points are. So these cars, F2 cars, not exactly known for great handling. A lot of understeer even in the dry. These cars are going to be horribly difficult to drive. I'm not sure we're going to see 10 drivers finish. I don't think we'll see 10 drivers finish. That's going to be my prediction. We're going to have a formation lap where we can see how these guys are getting on in slow conditions. Let's go on board with Halo just to see how bad the conditions are. And you can see only one set of, there's no intermediates in F2. So it's either dry or it's wet, and it's most definitely wet. And wet tyres for all of these guys. And Halo on pole then. Stenner P2, Maxim P3, Shush P4. Already big cap, want to get out of that spray of Maxim. Chaz P5, Reflex Pilot P6. The only benefit of that last lap mistake is he gets an extra spot in the sprint race. Division P7, JDM, that's going to be fun to see what he can do in P8 after a brilliant drive just a few minutes ago. Monkey has got some work to do in P9, because this is not good for his championship hopes. Currently second in the championship, but only 2 points scored so far, and a division with 18 points scored. That's going to increase that lead at the top dramatically, and also for obviously 4 points for division for pole as well. So it's a 20-point lead that division would have built out just in today's race, and I think the gap was about 14 already. So a big lead building for division in this championship. Monkey needs a strong race, but anything can happen in the wet. I mean, anything can happen in F2 anyway. But certainly in the wet, Aero hopefully can get back in. As Stenner and Maxim get disqualified from the session, and I don't think you would have got great odds at the bookies for that happening, because probably the first two names you would have picked out if there was anyone going to be disqualified in the formation lap. But Halo keeps it nice and clean, and he's going to have, I guess, as warmer tyres as possible for the start of this race here. This could be chaos. And keep an eye out as well for anyone not getting away particularly well. We've seen some guys stall in the dry in F2. Not always the easiest cars to get off the line, so keep an eye for anyone not moving off the line, as we see Halo drive straight through Maxim's car and onto his pole position spot. And I can see his car sitting there waiting for the lights, waiting for the guys at the back of the grid, just Sandra and Bradley Johnson, to join up. And we're going to be underway here very soon. They get the stuff up, shouldn't we? And we're going to be underway very soon. We can hear the lights, they're counting down. And very soon we are going to be underway, which we are now, for the sprint race in Brazil. Once again, the telemetry dies on us, but Halo gets away well by the looks of things. It's going to be Shush, I believe, up the inside possibly. Difficult to tell now. Halo goes very deep, and I think that might be Monkey's dive up the inside, not too sure on that. And let's see what's happening here. It's chaos in the middle, anyone spinning, difficult to see. We're on board with division right in the middle of the pack. We have got a spinner. Not sure who it was. Looks like it might be Zampa maybe at the back. Someone's right at the back of the grid. Everyone else has kept it pretty clean. Look at these cars going 3 wide through turn 4. We're on board with Halo. Currently in P3. And it was actually fair play to these guys. It kept a lot cleaner than we might have thought. Division. Oh, and it's very, very tight here. Someone monkey brakes late behind Division. A lot of cars in a very small part of the track here. Division's up the inside of Psycho Chaz and gets the move done. Chaz keeps it clean around the outside. It's Stenner in the lead. Shush P2, Halo P3 here. Oh, who's that sliding off a track? It's Chaz. Another commentator's curse as Chaz goes sliding and Monkey's off as well. I'm not sure if there was contact between the two. Chaz gets back on the track in the full wet conditions. Monkey and Zampa down at the back of the grid. Oh, and that's a lovely little drift from Zampa there. I'm not sure we're going to see him do too many laps in this race. Not his favourite conditions in F2, that's for sure. But we've got Maxim, Halo and Division battling for P3 right now. Halo currently holding that spot. Maxim P5, Division in between the two of them. And what's happening to JDM? Because he's making his way up from P8. We can see him in behind this battle. He's going to be closing up as well while they're fighting. 2 positions gained already. Zampa's causing another yellow flag down at Sector 3. As JDM's going to go up the inside of Division. Division we can see here. And what's happening to Maxim and all this? Oh, sorry, it's JDM up the inside of Maxim. Maxim forced wide by JDM, and JDM gets the move done. And we've got someone on the right hand side of your screen there. It's Stenner. Stenner is down and out on the right hand side of the exit of turn 4. The latest driver to spin in the wet conditions, but he spins from P1. Oh, Stenner, what a start he had, but he drops down to P14 on the grid. Zampa's in the pit lane, the only one behind him. And that's big for the guys like Division, who's already made his way up to P2 from P7. And struggling on exit there. A lot of these guys struggling. JDM looks like the quickest driver on track, other than Shush, who's flying out front as he goes deep into turn 14 off the top of my head, I think that is. Turn 13, sorry. And Division up to P2. And this is his chance now. Can he build that gap? But JDM is hunting him down. What a battle we're going to see here between 3 really quick drivers, 1, 2 and 3. Shush, Division, JDM. Halos drops back from pole down to P4. Still a solid start from him so far. And the Reflex, the one that's not made the same amount of gains. Have we got a spinner? We have. It's... oh, who's that? Is it just Sander? Just Sander and Ultra Titan. Yeah, just so we can see Ultra Titan appears from the left hand side of the screen. I think he went straight on at turn 1. Just Sander had a spin as well. All of these guys struggling. Monkey and Chaz, who had early spins, are already up to P7 and 8, which just shows you how many of these guys are struggling. And we're going to see Monkey actually up the inside of Psycho Chaz here. As Chaz goes wide and Monkey says thank you very much. Another yellow flag is Charisma. Where is Charisma? Oh, there he is. Has he got a front wing? Doesn't look like a particularly healthy one. And not sure we're going to see too much more of Charisma. We are going to see... oh, Charisma. I think that might have been on track. We're going to see... it was on track, unfortunately, for Charisma there. We've seen JDM battling, though, with Division. This is a battle for P2. And a spicy battle indeed, as JDM almost aquaplanes straight into the back of Division, but gets it all squared up again. And who are we seeing right now? We're seeing Halo taking probably what I would call the opposite of a racing line through the start of a long straight. Goes across the track. Reflex Part has got through. And Shush maintaining a 2.2 second lead here on the guys behind him. I think he needs Division to keep. And we see Ultra Titan. Another one of these drivers struggling. I said less than 10 would finish. We're already down 2, and we've also got Bradley Johnson who's ghosting, so we could be on for that prediction. But yeah, Shush needs Division to keep JDM behind him. I think JDM's just slightly faster of these 2 drivers. And if JDM gets through, I think Shush could be in trouble here. Oh, we hear the lock-up from JDM. As the Titan spun again at Sector 3 as Division goes a little bit deep there. who else we got battling? Reflex is catching up to Formula Maxim. All the battles is at the top of the grid here. Everyone else is struggling to keep it on the racetrack. And we've got another spinner. It's Stenner. That's his second and 4 laps. These guys are struggling. Let's have a look back up to here because Reflex and Maxim are not struggling. They are putting on a decent battle here. Is JDM any closer as well? Let's keep an eye on both these battles. Both these guys are super close. Let's watch JDM on his run up into division. This is for P2. He's got the run. Is he going to get the later break in? Oh, what's the camera doing? It's having a nightmare. Division on the inside of turn 2. We've seen him in that position so many times against Reflex Pilot. Now he's in that position against JDM. No DRS, of course, in the wet conditions, and JDM has to back out, and Reflex Pilot also had to back out on Maxim, so it's as you were. And oh, and I think Division has let JDM through there because that looked like a bit of a synchronized move as Shush gets a 3-second time penalty, so he's extending that gap, but in pushing too much he's got himself that penalty that brings him back into play of the others. And he's going to need to stretch that gap now. We've got a yellow flag somewhere, not sure who for. As the Halo's really struggling and Monkey steams up the inside. Halo sees him just about in time. And that he is dropping down the grid now, unfortunately, after his pole position. He's down to P7, struggling in those wet conditions as so many drivers are. What a recovery from Monkey, who was down in last place after his lap 2 spin, I think it was. He's up into P6. Reflex Pilot is dropped back massively on Maxim. Not sure what happened there. Reflex Pilot is really slow. Does he have slight? I think he might have damaged Reflex Pilot here because he is super slow right now. Maxim in sort of no man's land really in P4, but I think he'll be happy with that because he gives him opportunity just to keep it nice and steady. This is our closest battle, and these guys are really closing in on Shush as well. And Shush with that 3-second time penalty means this is currently the battle for the lead. As we've got another yellow flag. Stenner just exploring Brazil. I wouldn't stray too far off track because I'm not sure it's a particularly nice part of Brazil where we are. But let's see then. Division. Apparently still all over the back of JDM. Division looked like he let him through last lap, but I'm not sure if that definitely was the case or not. But whatever the case, these guys are trying to get onto the back of Shush, and also trying to get onto the back of the car in front is Monkey on Reflex. Reflex looks slow. He's dropping off dramatically off the back of Maxim, and must be a bit of damage to the front wing, I can only thought there, or he's just not particularly confident in this wet weather. As we've seen Maxim trying to get close enough. We've got a yellow flag. Is that Stenner again? I think it might be. It is indeed. And Ultra Titan, the ghost of Ultra Titan, is trying to unlap himself on Halo. So we'll let them get on with that. And Monkey looks like he's got a pretty horrible exit onto the straight. Division's not close enough. JDM fastest lap of the race. And Shush is going to have a sort of wing mirror full of Charouz Racing of JDM very soon. Stenner into the pit lane, unsurprisingly, and we're down to 12. Although 2 of those aren't currently racing, so we're technically down to 10 drivers right now, and all of them trying their best to stick it out in these horrible conditions. We're halfway through the sprint race. And this is a battle that's closed up dramatically for the lead. I don't think Shush is struggling. I think JDM's just rapid right now on these wet tyres, just like he was rapid in the feature race. And I'd tell you what, if he was racing at the start of this championship, I'm not sure it would be a particularly close battle because he has looked ever so quick. Unsurprisingly so, because he's a very quick driver in F1 cars. But we've seen a couple of very quick tier 1 drivers struggle in this transition to the F2 cars. JDM not so much, and he is all over the back of Shush. Don't be surprised if he can make a move up into turn 1. He might even be ahead before that. Division's backed off. 1.7 seconds is that gap between P2 and P3. This is the shortest gap on track right now. It's for the lead. JDM, who won the feature race, is going to be shown the outside by Shush, and JDM is going to take the outside line. Oh, contact! Contact there, Shush and JDM. And JDM, I think, automatically is put back. Oh, I look forward to the steward's report on that one. JDM, I think, was automatically put back on track, because either that or it was a big lag, because JDM looked like it went straight on there, and then the game put him back on track. Either that or he's lagged back into the lead. But didn't look the cleanest move as we were watching it, but the end result is that JDM is well clear of Shush. So I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but Shush is now well within the clutches of Division, and Shush is struggling right now. Every time he gets on the curb, he can't put the power down. Division, not too much issues on power, but does have a couple of issues with braking too late. Going a bit deep into some corners, but he's keeping the pressure on, and he's going to be looking to follow JDM through right now. 12 people still tuning in. Thanks very much for doing so on this Thursday evening. F2, the second of our Formula 1 calendar of each week. We've got the Realistic Performance League on a Wednesday. We've got F2 on a Thursday. Tier 1 tomorrow, 11 o'clock at Netherlands. So tune in for that. Me and Maxim on the comms. And Saturday, Tier 2, and we're at Spain. We've got the likes of me, Maxim, Brazy's in the chat, Shush will be racing as well. And we've got the legendary duo of Zampa and Charisma, who are both DNF this race. So that's a happy coincidence. We'll be on comms for that, so that's always going to be eventful, I'm sure. Even if the race isn't, the commentary box will be. And we've got Azerbaijan, Baku on Sunday, Tier 3, 11 o'clock. And I think we've got Radar and JDM on comms for that. JDM currently leading this race, and looking forward to that one as well. Baku, always good racing as a Division, trying to be patient around the outside of Shush. She's looking for an overtaking spot that possibly isn't available in the wet. Always harder to overtake in these wet conditions. No DRS, harder to pick your braking spots. And we're seeing the field spread out quite dramatically right now. This is our only battle on track. It's for P2. And Division, if he gets it, it will be his second P2 of the night. Only beaten by JDM in both races. So those two will certainly be picking up the most points by quite a long way compared to anyone else on this grid. Let's see if Division can get it done on Shush into turn 1. Shush now shows him the inside line. Division's going to take it, but can't brake late enough, and Shush keeps in front. 4 laps to go. Shush with that 3-second time penalty is going to make it difficult for him to keep that P2, but he'll be wanting to do it on track for sure. And let's see, Division now gets a good run up the inside of Shush down towards turn 4, but again he's been patient. Just doesn't want to risk ruining his race at all. So let's check in with some of the other drivers. Actually, no, let's get back onto this battle, because Division is now going to have a chance to hang it around the outside of turn 5 and 6 and through into 7 and 8. And this time he's on the inside. Shush on the Division on the outside. Shush on the inside gives Division the inside for the next corner. Shush trying to keep on the racing line. He's going to have a chance to, because Division gets it all wrong on exit, and that's going to give Shush the place back. Fantastic racing between these guys. And Division back where he started the lap, and then has to slam on the brakes a touch to avoid hitting the back of Shush. And yeah, great space, great respect between these two guys right now. We've seen Halo get through on Aero, who's ghosted, so that's not a surprise. Down for P9, that's out of the points right now, but very much in the points is Shush and Division. The battle for P2, Division goes right then left, but whichever way he goes, he's not close enough to the back of the orange Campos, even if he tries to squeeze it down the inside. This time he's going to go for a run into turn 4, focuses the car very much more on the exit of the corner, and he's definitely got a better run here. He just doesn't seem to have as much power down the straights. Looks like a setup related issue there for Division. Shush just looks slight, not by much, but just slightly quicker. where it matters into turn 1, into turn 4. We can see Division's better in the corners. Surely he's not going to have a look up the inside here though. He doesn't have a look up, but he does enough to force Shush wide. And now Division's going to have the inside line. Oh, and Shush has to leave him room. He does so just about. Good driving from Shush. He's aware there's slight contact. Nothing either driver could have done. Division is just struggling to get past here right now. But both drivers, without doubt, driving very, very well. And it is allowing Maxim to slowly creep up to the back of these guys, but it's not going to be enough. Oh, and Shush gets another 3-second time penalty. Takes that gap up to 6 seconds, and that could be that in the battle for P2. If it wasn't over already, I think it is now. JDM's just doing wet weather time trials right now, because he is flying fastest lap after fastest lap. He's put on a bit of a racing clinic tonight. Good to see him back out driving. Oh, and Shush goes up on the inside of turn 1, and he gets back on track, but almost certainly wing damage. Doesn't look too bad there, but he must have lost at least an end plate. He's dropped down into P4. The pressure from Division was too much in the end, and Shush spins out of the podium positions. And he's got Reflex Pilot for company now. Tough break for Shush, who'd driven a fantastic 12 laps. Really, really good. And unfortunately, as Titan is going the wrong way, and now he's facing the right way. Yeah, Shush, gutted for him because he's had a fantastic race, and now it invites Reflex Pilot all over the back of him. Reflex has still got an opportunity for a podium here. As oh, Shush has gone off again. I think he's either very much struggling, or might have just wanted to call it a day now. Shush, so gutting for him. What a fantastic race he's driven, but if you only do 12 out of the 14 laps, it doesn't count for anything. And he's dropping down the order. Chaz is a long way behind, so he might be able to make it home in P6 as JDM does his customary fastest lap of the race. Oh, just about keeps it together, Shush. And he's struggling there. Looks like he's somehow survived wing damage, I think. Is he going to come? Oh, no, he hasn't. He has to come into the pits. And by the way, he's shot into that pit lane. I think that could be the last we see of Shush. And it is, and that's really unfortunate for him. Deserves credit for a fantastically driven 12 laps, but he isn't going to get any credit on the scoreboard. But he will get credit from myself and anyone who watched the stream. So well done, Shush, for a good drive. Unfortunately, just lost it there on the inside of turn 1, and that's going to promote Maxim into P3. But this is a battle we can keep an eye on. Reflex Pilot 3.3 seconds behind Formula Maxim right now. 3-second time penalty for Formula Maxim. I don't need to be a mathematician to tell that's going to be a close finish, although Maxim currently extending that gap to 3.5. 1 lap to go here, and it's going to be a pretty quick lap with JDM leading the pack. He's flying right now. Another purple sector. I think it is getting, and certainly the rain is easing off, which I think is helping JDM set these fastest laps. But he's, like we said, put on a bit of a driving clinic tonight. Maxim is catching the back of Division, but I'm not sure it's going to matter with that penalty. Let's go on board with JDM for the final lap of the evening. Fantastic drive from him. He's going to lag his way around into Lagos for one final time. Qualified P4. He blamed a lag spike for not getting pole, and based on his pace since then, he probably is right. But he fought his way through the field on medium tyres, and when the soft guys pitted and he got himself clean air, he just shot off into the distance. And then when he pitted, got himself back out, stayed in P1, and on those soft tyres flew into the distance, comfortably won the feature race, and started from P8 in wet conditions here for 14 laps, and well, he was in the lead by about lap 6, I think. Didn't take him long to work his way through the field, and when you see that the gap between him and championship leader Division is 12 seconds, you can see why. Fantastic pace from JDM, managing the car beautifully. No real issues from the rear as he gets on the power, and he's going to come round to the penultimate corner. Great driving from JDM this weekend. He's going to be our first driver to win both races of the evening. And And not sure, I can't remember what happened to Halo. About to see JDM crash his way over the finish line, and he wins for the second time tonight. Great timing for the disconnect, but JDM crossed the line, and Division 2 P2s as well, so fantastic stuff from him. Championship leader as him and Maxim come together across the line. And we did say keep an eye on that gap. We were busy talking about JDM, but look at the gap between Reflex and Maxim. Reflex misses out on consecutive podiums by 0.014 seconds. Oh, and what could have been for Reflex? Lost out on P2 by 200ths of a second in the feature. Misses out on P3 by 100ths of a second in the sprint. Oh, Maxim. Sorry, Monkey. Where have you ended up? Monkey currently mounted on Formula Maxim right now. Probably not how we wanted to spend this Thursday evening, but it's going to be what's happening. And, well, there you go. There's one for the Instagram. As all the other cars driving past thinking, what the hell am I seeing? And yeah, Psycho Chaz comes home in P6. Really great stuff from him. Had a little moment at the start of the sprint race, as most drivers did in the wet conditions. But he's fought back brilliantly. P6 and P4 tonight. Paddy in the chat with a follow. Thank you very much, Paddy. Hello to you. Hope you are good. Hopefully you didn't just tune in for the end of the stream, because we are at the end of the sprint race here. But if you are new around here, make sure you check us out, and check us out over the weekend. Plenty more F1 action. And Maxim finally gets rid of Monkey from the top of him, and we can continue on to the results. And we're going to have a chat with our 3 fastest drivers, and no prizes for guessing who they are. Oh, good to see. Hope you enjoyed it tonight, Paddy. And yeah, if you enjoy F2 action, we are open for F2 seats. We've got a few going. So if Zampa, if you're on the chat, yeah, stick the website in the chat. And Paddy, if you're able to, go to the website, get involved in our Discord, and plenty of guys who will point you in the right direction. It's an Xbox League. We race every Thursday, 10 PM start. So if you're interested, mate, great to see you in the Discord, and we'll get you involved in a seat. No problem at all. Let's have a look at the results. And we see that JDM wins the whole weekend. I don't think those points are right. JDM wins the feature race, 27 points. Those are all those points. JDM division, and JDM wins the sprint race as well. And there's the better points. So let's get JDM in there as well. Hello guys, hopefully you've got a box to tick. Excellent. And we're just going to wait for JDM as well, because I think we need to speak to Mr. Speed. And Monkey's in as well.
I Monkey as well, just because he's a manager. And,
that's fine. I didn't know if he want to talk about this week, but we can have a chat as well. And oh no, Zampa's jinxed it by saying the stream survives in the chat. We've got to get through. If we get through the interviews, we've had our first successful F2 stream of the season. So let's see if we can. I don't know if anyone else can grab JDM and invite. I have invited him. Be good if we can speak to him as well. But if not, we can go with you 3. Make sure you've ticked the box
as well.
Yeah, cool. I'm just going to send JDM one more invite, and then we will get going. Oh, JDM.
Feels too good for an interview, I think.
I think so. It was very good. But let's start with Monkey then. Oh, JDM isn't. Cool. JDM, tick the box when you can, mate. But yeah, we'll start with Monkey. Monkey, difficult weekend for you. Just missed out on reverse grid pole. And I think we saw a couple of drifts and a couple of spins from you. Tough weekend in Brazil?
Yeah. The first race I was pushing. I made a couple of mistakes. Then I got a 5-second penalty in the pit lane. Then I talked to Division and I said, if Senpai just backs off and just keeps the guy behind me, then maybe there's a chance to get pole in the second race.
Yeah.
But then on the last lap, I got another penalty. Yeah, that was pretty much my race. And the second race.
The difference between P8 and P9 in that feature race is pretty huge. And I don't know if you saw at the end there, your car mounting Formula Maxim at the end of a sprint race. Hopefully that was an enjoyable end there. JDM looks like he's struggling with a bit of connection issues. But let's talk to Reflex Pilot then. P3 overall, and Reflex has just missed out on P2 in the feature. Just talk us through your battle with Division in that feature race, because it was a pretty intense one.
I figured Division was a little bit faster, but on Brazil it's pretty hard to overtake, so I just had to keep him behind in every occasion I had. And it went pretty well, not gonna lie, but at the end there I just lost a little bit, and we ended up with a drag race to the line.
Yeah, we caught it on the stream. It was just a slight mistake, wasn't it? At the end of Sector 2, I think, just allowed Division by. But, I mean, I think you were 200ths behind Division in the feature race, and then 100th behind Maxim in the sprint race. So, pretty fine margins tonight, but a very, very good drive altogether. And Division, a good evening for you as well, because even though you didn't manage to take home either of the wins, you got pole and you extended your lead in the championship. Was JDM just a bit too quick tonight?
Yeah, well, I've had pretty decent fights this race, so that's always most important to, not have a boring race. And yeah, man, JD, I don't know. He might be the boss cookie of F2, I think. I hope it's only on Brazil, so we'll see next week how it goes. If he can keep it up.
It was pretty quick from JDM. Just talk us through your battle with Schusch in the sprint race, because until he span on lap 12, but before that it was side by side for a lot of the race. How was it in the wet conditions with Schusch there?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I turned my traction control from off to medium, so
Yeah,
it went okay. Pretty clean driving from both, a lot of respect, and it's just a shame he lost it on his own. But yeah, it happens.
It was a good battle for 12 laps, and we could tell there just that Schusch might have been a bit quicker, just about in a straight line. So I'm not sure if that was a setup or traction control thing. JDM, are you there? JDM?
He is in the party.
He is in the party. We're halfway there, but looks like he's struggling a touch. So unless he can make contact, no, I think we've lost him. We almost had the perfect stream, but
Oh, there he is.
he's there. We will have a perfect stream. Good timing. Just before I was about to click in, JDM, I can't not talk to you because you had the perfect even, didn't you? Won the feature race pretty dominantly. Won the sprint race pretty dominantly. How was it for you? Yeah, hopefully we can see you all back next week. Division, where are we next week? Oh, we're in Australia, aren't we?
Yeah, we're gonna do Australia.
We're doing the catch-up race. So, guys, if you enjoyed tonight, come and tune in at Australia next week, and for round 7, and we're going to see all these guys back in action. But tomorrow night we've got Tier 1 at Netherlands, so tune in for that as well. And thanks for tuning in. We will see you next time.